Hey, it's Ken Pavis here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. It's an early morning here in New York. And I don't know how you start your routine, but mine is often started with a strong cup of coffee and some hair extensions. So today in my hotel room, before I go to work, I am going to make a special top knot piece for a client of mine. So in front of me, I've got a couple of bundles of hair. That's better. All right, now I can think clearly. So in front of me, I've got a couple of bundles of hair in the same tones, highlights, and lowlights of my client's hair. Some of it's got clips on it, and some of it does not. I'm trying to see what is going to look best for her and match her hair. You want to find highlights and lowlights. So this one I really like. This is a great neutral kind of medium light brown with no clips on it already, and it's got kind of fine edges, so I like that. That's definitely going to work, and it has the amount of length that I need. This is all the hair I'm going to use to create a top knot. See, so one of them has clips on it still. Now I have clips over here as well. I think you guys all know these clips. What's great about these is they have a little bit of rubber on one side, which helps to keep it stick to the hair and not slide. And they just go flat like this, like little combs. They go into the hair and they go flat, just like that. I'll come a little bit closer towards the end, but this is the comb, just like that. And I only need one for the top knot. This piece here already has clips on it. So the great thing is I sew them on, take them off, and I like to use just regular sewing or kitchen or desk scissors because they'll dull my hair scissors, so you don't have to have professional hair scissors. Just make sure that you cut off only the thread that is holding the clip onto the extension. Alright, so I've got the hair that I want to use there, I've got my thread, and I've got a couple pre-threaded weaving needles. So I've got these here, ready to go. Mason Pearson, a little more coffee. This is how I start my day. Now, one of the things really important to keep in mind, not only have I selected different tones, this is a bit darker, this is a bit lighter, but I've also selected different lengths. This one is considerably longer. This one is about maybe 2 inches, 3 inches shorter. And then this one, again, is even shorter than those two. I like to have the majority of the length to be the longest length. The reason I like to do this is my client has layers in her hair, but for anyone that has a ponytail, it never really lays really blunt, and even though I'm going to be wrapping this into a top knot, I want it to look really natural, and I want some of the shorter pieces to flick out, some of the bits on the ends. So what I've done, as you can see here, there are now 3 different lengths, and it's layered kind of like this. How cool is that? So now I don't need to cut it. So if you're not a professional hairdresser or you're afraid to cut into the length of what you're creating, this is going to auto layer the hair in a really great, cool, modern way. And the majority of the hair, when you get it, it comes a bit wispy around the edges so that it lays really natural. This piece here seems to be a little bit blockier and a little bit heavier than what I like. So what I'm going to do is about 3/4 of the way down, I'm going to twist it, just twisting it here, wrap it around my finger, and very carefully, you don't want to take a lot of hair out, but even with these scissors, I'm just going to go along the end of the twist. So I've twisted the hair around here, and I'm just going to go in very lightly and make a few little cuts in random spots. Very fine cuts. So you can see now, see that little bit of hair? But what that's going to do is actually going to texturize very randomly. A little bit, not too much. Remove that bulk. That's perfect now. Now I have all of the hair that I'm going to use in varying lengths and varying colors, and what I want to do is just lay it out on the table. Make some room here. coffee and just see what I have. So what I'm going to do is just kind of brush this out, and I'm going to arrange it on my table by length and color. Since I'm doing a top knot and I want to wrap this around like this and have all the variations of color, I'm going to overlap the color from dark to light so it's a little bit more evenly spread. I'm going to start with my darkest on the outside. And I'm going to do this a little bit differently because what I want to be able to do is wrap this around my client's hair. I don't want to make a piece like this and then just stack up the dark to light. I want to really be able to wrap it around her ponytail. So I'm going to sew this piece together kind of about a 5-inch width like this. The reason is when I put this around her hair with the clip in it, this will wrap around and then the dark will be on the outside, and that will give me a more realistic look. So I'm going to start off like this and just sew this one piece in half and then again in half. So it's about 5 inches. I'm going to start on the end where it's close. Since it's one continuous piece, I'll fold in the middle, and I'm going to start on the end where it's open. What I like to do is take one of my weaving hooks. These are the same hooks and thread that I use when I'm weaving, but I go in just on the end. Make sure that you go through all 4 of the wefts, kind of thick, kind of strong. Pull it all the way almost to the end, and then just like I would if I was sewing in a track into somebody's braids, go into the end where it's tied. Hold your hair back with one finger, and then just pull that. So now you have a locked base. Super easy, super secure. Now you don't really need to work kind of as hard. You can go around the hair, you can go through the wefts. I will alternate going through the wefts and around the wefts. When I go through and I create a loop around the weft like that, just like I did in the beginning, I'll go through the loop here. Causes like a, creates like a little semi-knot for when you want to do kind of a quick, easy look like this where you're going to reuse the hair. This isn't a one-time use hair for me. I will deconstruct this again and make something else. Knot at the end. And cut that off. Now these scissors I actually called down to the front desk and borrowed, so I didn't have to wear out my good scissors. So comb that at the end, put my needle to the side, and one thing I like to do as I go along, just to keep it neat, really brush through, and then any extra hairs on the outside of the weft, past the weft, just take them off, just so it's not messy. So now you see that I've created this. It's about 5 inches wide. This looks like it could potentially be enough hair, but since I'm doing a knot and I know I'm going to do this, look how small that gets. Super insignificant and definitely not ready for the red carpet. That would be like, wah, wah. Nobody wants it. I will start to now layer in the other colors. I'm going to potentially go with not the darkest, but in with a medium shade. That's a different length, so you can see much shorter. So it just starts to create that variation within this color. And then you'll see now when I wrap this around, you get hints of the highlights. Already looking pretty good. So now when I sew this piece in, I'm going to go just below the stitching of the weft on top so that this doesn't get too thick. It'll still create that same great layering, but I need this to be real flexible, and if you go on top and on top and top, directly on top, it's going to create a bit of a thicker band, a little bit more difficult to really wrap around and make really nice. At the end, I'll also sew a bit of a, on each end, I'll sew a loop to put my bobby pins into, even though I already have the clip here, and I'll show you that at the end. So now I'm just going to sew. I'm going to go light, dark, long, short, and create the look that I want to create. So here goes. all of these are kind of working out even for me, or kind of working out the same length of my piece. But if it doesn't, just fold an additional fold on the end to make it the length or the width that you need actually. Starting here again, always going a bit lower so it's not too thick of a piece. Keep your hair on, girls. Keep it on. Keep your work neat, kids. Keep it neat. Getting there. I'm going to go in with the next lighter color, and actually the lightest color on top underneath, just so I have some that pop through, highlight, that peek through highlight. So what I'm going to do now is I decided to go with a lighter color on the inside. And again, stacking these all going downward. Now to make it all neat and pretty, because like I said, we got to keep it pretty. I don't want my client to go like, you gonna put that on me? Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna take the shortest and lighter piece that's going on the inside, and I'm gonna put it directly on top, level with the outermost piece. It's gonna make it pretty on the inside, outside, just like you guys, pretty on the inside, outside. Nobody gets hurt. And I did not plan this, but I'm super excited about this. Proud of myself. This one is exactly the length that I need it to be, because what I want to do is kind of wrap the edges around to meet the bit on the other side, so it looks really nice and pretty. And loop and lock. Loop and lock. Keeping your hair on. You're already a winner. So here I'm at the end of the extension, the end of the piece that I made here. And what I'm going to do is I've got the thread out here. I'm going to take this pencil from the hotel. You can use anything you want. It just makes it easier to make a little bit more of a uniformed loop. I'm going to put the ponytail, the pencil just on the end, and I'm going to loop around. Loop it. And now knot it. So going through the loop, I like to do that part twice, just because, like I said, I don't want anybody's hair falling off, especially after I'm showing you this video. That'd be the worst. How to keep your hair on. Okay, I'll cut that off in a second. Look how wonderful that is now. Put the bobby pin in there. I want to put a pin in there right now. Just on the end, little loop. Do the same thing on the other side. The reason I like to do the loop for the bobby pin like this is, honestly, I've been in so many crazy places with my clients, and sometimes not the best light, trying to put a hairpiece on, and it is not fun. Really like a needle on a hairpiece. So if I did it just kind of loosely, went through and created a random loop, not as easy to see in a compromising situation. So even though I plan on getting my client ready in her hotel, you never know, something could happen. So I've just always done it like this. So wrap it around, knot on the end, loop it through, and we have got our loops for our bobby pins, y'all. We're almost to the carpet. We're almost to the red carpet, kids. A couple of knots. And now I'm going to sew on the clip. I mean, that sure is pretty. Can't miss that loop. So here's the piece. And with it darker on the outside, lighter on the inside. This is where I'm going to put the clip. And don't judge, it may not look pretty right now, but that's custom. That's custom. It'll be real pretty when it's on. Here's the clip. The clip's going to point down towards the end, again with the metal on the outside, the rubber towards the inside. This is the clip. So this is the side without the rubber that goes against your head. That goes into the hair, against the head, and then closes flat. Now on this side, you'll see it's got kind of this rubber across the bar here. It's a non-slip grip, and what that's going to do is keep it really in the hair really tight. So again, you want to go in to the hair against the scalp, comb side against the scalp, into the hair, and close shut. This clip will go into the base of my client's own ponytail, which is pretty great. She's got great hair, just shorter length. And we need to create this look, and you know, the red carpet, everything always looks smaller, so you always got to go a bit bigger. My best friend of 30-something years, and she's so funny. She will send me pictures of her and hair pieces that I've made for her, going to the grocery store or going to doing whatever, and it's like, yeah, feel good about yourself. You do you. Go to the school run looking good. Doesn't matter what everybody else is doing. You do you. I got into this inspired by my mom, who was just the most incredible, selfless, amazing woman, and I just loved seeing when she would get herself ready, you know, when I was growing up for a family function or, you know, something like that. My mom worked 3 jobs, but when she got ready, man, yeah, Cookie was a firecracker now. A 5 foot tall Filipino Portuguese firecracker. Got herself ready, she'd give it to you. So I always just love making people feel great about themselves. Feel beautiful. You're beautiful before you put this on. Beautiful after. You don't need this to be beautiful. Gives you a reason to look in the mirror, validate yourself, and your self-worth is not your outward appearance, but your ability to look into the mirror and see much deeper. You recognize your value. So that's that for me. That's why I do what I do. I love the moment somebody looks in the mirror and they like what they see. Because I know in that moment, just like with my mom, they truly see themselves. So that's it. Got a clip in the center, goes upward into the ponytail, bobby pin in the loop, wrap it around, wrap that around, cross the bobby pins, don't forget. Cross the bobby pins. I will smooth this out and put a little bit of texture in it. Texture helps to create hold. How nice is that? And I will loop this around, wrap it around, and I mean, I'm telling you guys, that's a top knot if I ever saw one. Come on now with the top knot. Go ahead, top knot. What are you talking about? Go ahead, knot. Okay, so what? Look at all those colors. Come on now. Look how that came together. Shit, I'm late. Gotta go. Bye. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in.